Hi, I'm Jeffrey Zekin. I'm the creative director at Experiment 7, and we just came out with Catan VR today.
Jeff, what are some of the challenges when creating a physical board game in the VR space?
A lot of it's the translation, because the board game itself, well actually Catan's a little bit complex because it's a state-based game. It's your turn, it's not your turn. You're in the middle of a trade, you're in the middle of placement, you're in the middle of being robbed, you're in the middle of discarding resources. So it's getting all of that working, but translating it to virtual reality in a way that feels fun, and it's a little bit faster. So for example, if you buy a road, you don't have to pick it up. It appears in your hand because placing the road is the fun part, not necessarily picking up the road. Or optimizing trade, making it so that when you're sitting around with people, it feels like you're actually trading, kind of like you're actually sitting around a real table with your friends. The way people talk back and forth, like, hey, would you give me 2 sheep? Well, how about 3? Sure. So it's translating that to make it fun. And that's where we spend most of our time and effort, as well as just developing really badass AI.
You talk about more of the subtle changes you had to make in the game to make it work in the VR space. You mentioned, draw cards, they just appear in your hands, stuff like that.
A lot of it actually is designing, so if you think about designing a traditional video game, you put your UI, user interface, usually around the side of the screen. You have something to attach it to. In virtual reality, there is no screen. You're not looking at a 2D space representing 3D space. It actually feels like you're in a full 3D space. So designing the interface and the interactions of the game to feel natural and intuitive and not clutter up the area was probably the single hardest, most challenging, and most rewarding one, because I think we solved it particularly well. It feels fun and it feels natural. Like actually, to the fact where we have people who've never played in VR before coming and picking up the game within a couple of minutes to play it.
So talk about your studio, because I'm very interested, but you guys have done other physical board games to VR space. Talk a little about the history of your studio and where you guys started and what other games you've made.
Sure. So this is our 3rd game in virtual reality. Our first one was Magic Table Chess, where we made chess. And we made chess because nobody's going to argue, do they like the rules for chess or not? They know how chess plays. So this was our studio test. Can we make avatars? Can we do good voice? Can we do good rooms? Can we do good match? All of the stuff around the game as well as the game itself. Our second game, we teamed up with Wizards of the Coast and licensed Dungeons & Dragons into an animated battle chess we call Dungeon Chess. So you're actually in the Yawning Portal, which is one of the iconic inns in Dungeons & Dragons, and your chess pieces are beholders for rooks, and the dragons are the queens are dragons, and storm giants for kings, and the pieces go and they battle each other. And our third game is then moving on to going from 2-player to 4-player, cross-platform, come play Catan.
It's really interesting because I've never heard of that Dungeons & Dragons game. I blame bad marketing.
You should comply. I mean, if you like watching, beholders fry, people and dragons fly across the board in virtual reality. Hell, if you've ever wanted to pick up a beholder or a mind flayer and look at it in your hand, it is well worth picking up.
Now, I'm seeing on the table behind you people using the touch controls as well as Oculus Go controls. Does this mean you don't have to have the Go or touch? Can you use keyboard and mouse as well?
Remember in VR, because we control everything you see, you can't see your keyboard and mouse. So pretty much you always, for a Rift, will be using touch controls. For a Gear, you're going to be using the little control pad. But we've done a really good job of optimizing control schemes for different comfort levels, because we have people with disabilities that play, we have people with mobility issues that play. So you can literally play this game. If you can just move your head a tiny bit and click a thing, you can play the game all the way up to full mobility.
So is your game going to be just on Oculus, or is it going to be on HTC Vive and PSVR?
It is currently on the Rift and the Gear. We'll be on the Go as a launch platform game. And assuming it does well, we'll be porting to a whole number of other VR platforms. Our whole goal is to get this as widely out there as we can.
If you could do any game in the VR space with unlimited budget and time, what would it be and why?
Unlimited budget, unlimited time? I'd probably do like a Final Fantasy Tactics-y kind of mesh up with the D&D license. Basically, D&D XCOM in VR. Because how badass would that be?
That's a game I would buy instantaneously.
Give me the budget, we'll start tomorrow.